Anglican Cathedral in Brisbane. Please make him welcome.
Thank you. It's a great privilege to be here today. Palm Sunday, when Jesus entered Jerusalem, was modelled as a way that non-violence can confront violence. And one of the ways that we confront the violence, or violent, is to tell the truth. And one of the travesties in this state, of course, is one of the first actions of this government was to shut down truth-telling about our First Nations people. Shame indeed. There are other truths, other places that need our sense of solidarity and support by us telling the truth about what's going on there too. I want to take you back just 5 months to October 2025. After an 18-month starvation siege, the city of El Fasser in the Darfur region of Sudan fell. In the course of just 2 days, 10,000 people were massacred, another 40,000 are missing, and that's on top of the 225,000 people have been killed in Darfur in the last 2 years. Genocide is happening in Sudan as well, and it's largely not known about in Australia. In fact, on the way down here, someone said to me, "Why would you speak about Sudan? Is there a war there too?" They were up to their second genocide this century in that place. That fall of that city happened after an 18-month siege, 18 months, by the Rapid Support Force, which is against the Sudanese government. And there are a number of tragedies that flow or part of this story. First, there's the tragedy of the genocide itself. Secondly, there's the tragedy that that the Western intelligence knew that this was going to happen. They had 18 months of advising governments in the West that this city would be destroyed and genocide would follow. And the third tragedy is that the warnings that would have triggered an intervention were buried in both the United States and the United Kingdom. Both countries knew that they should act, and all they needed to do was to send a peacekeeping force, a non-violent force, to that city to be a presence. And all of this, despite that those governments and all the Western governments knew that 300,000 people had been massacred in the previous genocides in the early 2000s. They knew the form of what would happen. And so the question is, why? Why, when Western intelligence is telling the governments what would happen, why would they simply ignore it? Why would they bury that advice? Well, it turns out that the United States of America, yet again, had a mutual defence agreement with the United Arab Emirates. And according to the European Centre for Democracy and Human Rights, the UAE is widely believed to be the supplier of arms to the terrorist group in Sudan. And it's driven by an interest in natural resources. And so we can see a pattern. And this is the pattern we need to expose, the pattern we need to explore, to call out. The pattern is that when truth-telling is denied, when the truth is not told, when there isn't courageous leadership, then the terrorists, the people who are, and the terrorists are always the people who exercise genocide, that's how you can tell that they're terrorists. The terrorists fill the vacuum because of the lack of leadership. Peacemaking is exactly what the word means. It says you have to make it. You have to be intentional. Governments need to be bold and exercise leadership. They need to hear the truth, tell the truth, and act on the truth. Imagine Imagine where the world would be today when Donald Trump, the arch bully, started bullying people over tariffs. If the rest of the world had simply said, okay, we're going to impose 300% on you, and stood shoulder to shoulder, which is what you do to bullies. You come together and you stand against them. You don't go, I'll be your friend as long as you're nice to me. Trump eroded international solidarity one country at a time because of the lack of leadership. We've seen that lack of leadership again in our government's response to the war in Iran, and with the people of Sudan, many of whom are here as refugees in Australia, stand as testament to the failure of truth-telling and to courageous leadership. So what I want from our politicians is simply for them to hear the truth and to act on the truth, please.